There's a reason silence feels uncomfortable. We don't like the quiet, not because it's bad, but because it's honest. When the noise stops, we start hearing ourselves again, and most of us don't like what we hear. Welcome to the bench session, where we unload the weight one session at a time. I'm Juan, and this is a space for real talk, the kind that doesn't always make it into group chats or gym conversations. There's no guests, there's no filters, it's just me, a mic, and my truth. Let's get into it, shall we? Welcome back, everybody. All right, here's another episode of the bench session. You obviously know who I am if you've stuck around here long enough. If you just started with this episode, I have no idea why. Go back and listen to all the other ones. I'm sure they were pretty good episodes, at least from what I can tell. All right, so today we're going to be talking about not fitness, not mindset or motivation. It's going to be a little bit more simpler than that, but way harder to sit with. I'm talking about silence. Yeah, just like that. We live in life is constant noise. You know, we have music, we have podcasts like the one you're listening to right now. We have the doom scrolling, we have conversations, distractions. It's always something. And if we're honest, most of the noise isn't accidental. It's the noise we choose. All right. And if you don't believe me, look around your office or look around the world, your world. And how many people walk around with AirPods in their ear listening to something, right? They're choosing their noise. We live in a time where silence doesn't exist unless we force it. We wake up to notifications. We drive with music. We work with podcasts or YouTube videos or music or anything like that. You know, we come home and relax with some Netflix or Paramount or Amazon Prime or Sling TV and all the other streaming services. Even when we're resting our brains, we're still processing some kind of input. I mean, that's not always a bad thing, but, you know, because we have shit to do, right? But it is telling. I mean, because silence isn't empty, it's just full of everything we've been avoiding. And it can be uncomfortable. Silence feels uncomfortable. Silence is a mirror. It shows us our thoughts, our worries, our regrets, our unprocessed emotions. When it's silent, our brain talks to us. We have different voices in our head. And I don't know about you guys, but I have no idea where some of these voices came from. They just suddenly started popping up in my head. And no, I'm not talking about a schizophrenic kind of way where voices are telling me to kill people. I'm talking about when you have conversations in your head with yourself, and sometimes they have different accents or, you know, stuff like that. I have no idea where they come from or why they're there or who picked the voices in our heads, right? But you know, it's one of those things. It's when things get quiet, we reach for our phones or turn on some music or fill the space with something, anything just not to feel that stillness. I mean, just my own personal experience, my kids always have some kind of AirPod in their ear. They're always listening to music. And when I say always, I mean 100% of the time. I have no idea. They have a different relationship with music than I did, or than I do. My wife is the same as them. I mean, music is life, and I agree, music is life. But there's some times where I don't want to have music playing 24/7 in my out loud. I mean, we all have our own internal playlist that we play sometimes. I hope it's not just me, and I hope everybody else has this internal playlist, because otherwise, I probably need to talk to a therapist. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, you know, survey yourself, survey your loved ones. How often are they listening to music or cooking with the TV on just to have some kind of background noise? You know, the noise can be a shield. The noise protects us. It gives us a sense of control, a way to avoid, the harder conversations that we need to have with ourselves. The playlist, the constant doom scrolling, the background noise. That's not random habits. It's a comfort zone disguised as productivity. Some people are like, well, if I'm going to be sitting here typing up this whole spreadsheet, I need to have some music playing so I can focus. Yeah, you're drowning something out at that point, right? Yes, you need to focus, but you're also avoiding somebody else walking in or whatever it is that you're doing. It's yes, not everybody will do this to avoid things. Some people actually need some music that will help them focus, and that's all kinds of different mental things like ADHD or one of the tisms. It's valid. So don't try to cancel me with this episode because it offends you or anything like that. I'm not sorry if it offends you. This is why the reason I have this podcast is so I can voice my own thoughts. And I'd rather voice them here than talking to myself. But yes, some people need to have that background noise. I tend to have that background noise when I'm, driving to work. Obviously, I'm listening to music, or if I'm cooking, I'll have some background music playing just to, I don't know, set the mood, I guess. I really don't know. I mean, it could be I'm avoiding something, or just don't want the whole house to be silent because I don't like the silence. It could be all kinds of stuff. So I know I do it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm perfect and don't avoid things and don't do this and don't do it. I'm more flawed than you guys will ever know. But I mean, like I said, I've catch myself doing this all the time. I'll finish a workout. While I'm working out, I'm listening to music. On my way to the car, I'm listening to music. It's all playing the entire time. If I'm in the sauna, I have headphones on and I'm listening to music. So the whole gym time, I'm listening to music, and you rarely catch me without headphones. It's just the way I am. And there's nothing wrong with it. So don't take this as an attack. I mean, there's been a few times I've driven home without having any music playing or anything like that. And, it's quiet. I have a Tesla, so it's extra quiet. But sometimes it gets a little too quiet. And, being in the firearm industry, so, any other law enforcement or military folks or people that tend to shoot guns a lot, sometimes we have ringing because, we were stupid and shot guns without hearing protection, and we have permanent damage to our ears. And then here comes that ringing noise. But anyway, aside from that funny moments, it can be a lot of mental noise as well. Not just the whole ringing in your ears. Sometimes your thoughts start creeping in, and things that you hadn't processed yet, feelings that you buried down because you made yourself so busy because you didn't want to deal with them. They start to creep up. And at that moment, it's turn the music on or fucking deal with what you're doing. And I don't have any statistics on how many times people just ignore their feelings or ignore their thoughts and turn on the music. But I'm pretty sure it's a good majority of them. And I know I'm part of that crowd. If I'm avoiding something and it starts creeping up into my head, I find ways to distract myself. There's a paradox of peace. I mean, we say we want peace, but we never create space for it. We think peace will come when life slows down, when the work is done, when stress disappears. But peace doesn't arrive through silence. It arrives through awareness. And in order to be aware, that requires being quiet. And yeah, it's funny. People say they want quiet time until they get it, and then they realize that, shit, this is not good. You don't believe me? Ask any parent who's had at least 2 kids in their house screaming and hollering all 18 years of their life, and then they go off to college and suddenly the house is quiet, and it is horrible because you don't hear the screaming, you don't hear the laughter, you don't hear the giggles, you don't hear the stomping or the slamming on doors. Everything is just quiet, and then you realize how empty the house is. Yeah, it's not fun, but it's also shit that we have to deal with. We want the quiet time, and then 5 minutes later, why is it so loud in my head? Why is this house so fucking quiet? So it's one of those, watch out what you ask for. I'm not saying we have to live like monks, right? We don't have to shave our heads, be quiet, have a vow of silence, and do all this other stuff. I mean, we need the stimulation, right? We need conversation. We need energy. That's part of life. That's part of who we are. Excuse me. But what if we just became intentional about the noise? What if we replace the noise that numbs with noise that nourishes? Say it like this podcast, right? So keep listening to this because this is helpful for you, versus something stupid that doesn't do anything for you. The conversations, the music, the people, we change all of it. We accept, well, not accept, but we choose the correct noise for us, something that's going to nourish us. Have the conversation with somebody who stimulates your mind versus having a conversation with somebody who just goes with, yeah, cool, yeah, right? That's not stimulating. That's kind of redundant. It's kind of boring. It's kind of, you don't gain any benefit from it versus having a nice debate or nice long conversation with somebody who comes with their point and facts to back it up. That's good stimulation, good nourishment for your brain, right? Because the problem isn't that the world is noisy, is that we stop noticing how much of it we let in. All right, so if you want to take something from this episode, something to think about, the silence we avoid might be the peace that we've been chasing. We don't have to fill every gap with sound. We don't have to distract yourselves from every thought. Sometimes quiet isn't empty. It's clarity waiting for your attention. Let that sink in. Think about that. Don't be afraid of being quiet. Thanks for sitting with me. Try something different this week. Whatever it is, drive with no music, go to the gym, eat a new restaurant, try a new recipe, sit in silence for 5 minutes. You might be surprised at what you hear from that. When the noise fades away, what pops up. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Same bench, same real talk. Stay grounded, stay real.